If you've been around on planet Earth for more than one day, you've no doubt seen a cute little shark named Jeff come swinging through the pop culture zeitgeist, garnering incredible popularity and legions of fans. So without further ado, let's talk about Jeff the land shark. Anthropomorphic characters have been around since time immemorial. Well, maybe not quite, but they've been around a while. In fact, animals tend to be the breakouts for many of these stories. There's Tiger Shark, King Shark, Katy Perry's Left Shark, and let's not forget Street Sharks too, or Jaws, The Meg, Sharknado, you get the point. The list is quite long. So it's no surprise that comic book creator Kelly Thompson, of Eisner-nominated Hawkeye and Eisner-winning Black Widow fame, decided to contribute to this trope with her own co-creation, an anthropomorphic little shark aptly named Jeff the land shark. When I say co-created, Jeff was made by her and Danielle DiNiccolo. Regarding Kelly's accolades, we can add that It's Jeff was nominated for an Eisner Award in 2022 for Best Digital Comic. Jeff first appeared in 2018's West Coast Avengers issue 7. His rise to stardom, though, is one of chance, a confluence of circumstance, art, and collaboration that all fell in place and paved the way for Jeff to be a fan favorite. On Kelly Thompson's Substack, she comments on how Jeff came to be. It all started in West Coast Avengers issue 1 with Stefano Caselli's fantastic designs of land sharks that were attacking Los Angeles. The land sharks were just supposed to be a one-off thing for that first story, a fun thing to fight, but in Caselli's beautiful pages, I noticed this very concerned land shark in the background. This guy was concerned, very, very concerned. Like, this guy did not want to be here. So is that Jeff, or simply the inspiration for Jeff? A land shark catalyst, a proto-Jeff maybe. Let me know what you think in the comments. So initially, MODOK, who at this time was going by Brodock, or biorobotic organism designed overwhelmingly for kissing, had created an army of land sharks and set them loose to attack LA. The shark stayed with Kelly, and then one day she decided to combine this little fella here with her two kittens named Monarch and Clive, and thus Jeff the land shark was born. Gurihiru further defined Jeff's looks. His flippers do come and go, though, depending on who's on art duties. So that invasion was just a couple weeks before they gathered at Hawkeye Investigations, where Kate Bishop was putting together a new team, a team that would be called the West Coast Avengers. A few issues later, Kate's team found themselves captured by Madame Mask and stuck in hanging cages that were dangling precariously above a pool filled with land sharks at a murder trap theme park. One of them chasing Gwen may or may not be Jeff, which would make issue 6 his cameo. Once they escaped with help from Novar, Gwenpool adopted one of the land sharks and named him Jeff. The team begrudgingly agreed to take him on, but Clint said that the first time he bites someone that isn't a supervillain, he's off the team. In issue 8, Gwen took her adopted pet and new friend to play on Venice Beach, but I shouldn't call him pet. Gwen is adamant in telling us that he is a team member and not a pet. He also showed up acting like a little aquatic puppy on Kid Omega's lap while Kid Omega was being interviewed. This was just before he linked up with Ramon Watts, aka Alloy, and Gwenpool for a mission underneath LA as the team continued to look into the Temple of the Shifting Sun and its connections to Skrulls, Madame Mask, and the Masters of Evil West Coast. Those Skrulls I mentioned, well, they weren't Skrulls at all. This was actually a vampire cult. And this is when Jeff finally went nom-nom, biting the vampires with his little shark teeth. Miss America sent the vampires through a portal to a shrimp world, which is a place that Jeff seemed to rather enjoy. As that book wound down to its final pages, we see Jeff playing with Lucky the pizza dog and has now developed the ability to make tornadoes, a power that Gwenpool calls a Jeff-nado, something derived from Gwen's boyfriend, Quentin. In a short story in 2019's Fearless, Jeff makes a quick cameo when Jessica Jones goes to a precinct to bail Elsa Bloodstone out, and she finds Elsa holding a chibi version of Gwenpool, who in turn is holding a tiny Jeff the land shark. In the Gwenpool Strikes Back debut issue, Jeff apparently started a YouTube channel and wore a costume like Gwenpool's to talk about her on his live streams. Then Jeff showed up with Gwenpool on Gwenpool's island as she pitted heroes of the 616 against each other and herself, all to get them to take her seriously. During 2019's Superior Spider-Man run, Gwenpool and Jeff showed up. This was during the War of the Realms event. He seems to be helping the West Coast Avengers fight frost giants in Los Angeles, but he's just on the cover here. In Marvel Comics 1000, Kelly Thompson wrote a short story where Elsa Bloodstone spoke ominously as fire eerily lit her face, that she was tasked with taking down monsters and killing dodgy things in the night. Who'd she say this to? It's Jeff! She said he may be dodgy, but when he brought her a bone, she said she would kill anything that tried to hurt Jeff. At the end of 2019, Kelly Thompson made the jump to writing a Deadpool series, so naturally, her creation came along for the ride. Jeff got a cool spot on a Coppertone homage variant where he's pulling Elsa's swimsuit off. Deadpool and Elsa Bloodstone killed the king of the monsters, and Deadpool took the crown, with a creature named Bells as his Lord Chamberlain. They'd taken up residence on Staten Island, which is where Deadpool ran into Gwenpool and her landshark. Gwenpool's power was reality-altering. She was aware she was in a comic book and hailed from another dimension. The problem was she kept losing her books and the stories contained within them, so her plan to save Jeff was to give him to Deadpool to care for. Gwenpool said that Deadpool was always around, he never died, and he seemed to always have a comic book, so if Jeff was by his side, by proxy, Jeff would be safe too. Gwen and Jeff parted ways, a tearful goodbye, which also meant that Deadpool was about to team up with Jeff the Landshark. They all went out for ice cream, which is good because that night Kraven the Hunter showed up at Bella's house and murdered him. Jeff became part of King Deadpool's round table with some other monsters and aliens and a human liaison for the Homo sapien residents of Staten Island. Jeff stood with Deadpool in the round table in the ensuing fight with Kraven. Kraven got Deadpool by his collar at the end of a dagger and asked if landshark meat tastes like regular shark meat. Salty, he said, just before Elsa sniped him with a shot to the head from a nearby rooftop. Deadpool disappeared in a flash, leaving Kraven against just one. Who? It's Jeff! Okay, I'll stop doing that. Maybe I'll switch to Jeff for Marvel Rivals. Yeah, I won't do that either. Deadpool came back, now with Elsa teaming up with him and the Honor Guard against Kraven. Jeff even saved Deadpool by catching one of Kraven's spears in his mouth. The monsters escaped through a portal in one of the team's buttholes. Yes, you heard that right. And Deadpool stayed behind to make sure the portal closed and they were safe. Yeah, that's weird, but it happened. The fight led outside the compound to where the Honor Guard were, and Deadpool kept fighting Kraven, but now with Jeff over his fur shawl-covered shoulders. At a monster funeral, Deadpool told Jeff that he was abdicating his throne and they were going home. It was Elsa, of all people, who told him not to quit and tossed him his crown. Later, Jeff led Wade to a costume shop and made him dress up as Gwenpool in pink and white, and then Jeff cracked a big ship-eating grin. Yes, that's ship with a P, not a T. In Deadpool issue 5, Deadpool took Jeff to the park to play in the water with a child kaiju, which is when Elsa caught up with him again. They all found themselves quickly fighting the kaiju to stop it from Godzilla stomping the city. The kaiju ate Jeff, so Jeff ate his way right out of the monster, while Deadpool and Elsa worked to take it down from the outside. In issue 6 of Deadpool, Deadpool used a portal-making mutant named Jelby in his attempt to sneak into Krakoa, but when Jelby formed around him, Jeff bit his ass and he was stuck there. And it was on Krakoa when Jeff encountered Wolverine, Storm, Beast, Magic, Armor, and Polaris of the X-Men. Magic thought Jeff to be cute, and she also wanted to keep him. He and Jeff walked right up to the council's table and met with Emma Frost. And Emma, like all those others before her, wanted to keep Jeff too. When he ended up battling the X-Men, Deadpool threw Jeff at Storm's face, who bit her, then went and bit Polaris's leg. At the end, Magic said she'd not send Jeff to Limbo Hell and then opened a portal to send the pair back to Staten Island. By issue 7, Elsa was now dying from an infection caused by the stone in her palm, so she asked her boyfriend Wade for help. Jeff was told to stay with the Honor Guard, but he didn't like that idea, so he chomped on Deadpool's entire head, which meant he went along with Elsa and Wade to Greenland. And there they found a seam in reality and fought some bone-eating beasts. The next issue, some shenanigans were uncovered, like Elsa setting up Deadpool to be eaten by the Bone Beast Queen, their subsequent capture, and Jeff continuing to have too much fun on what was supposed to be a deadly mission. Then, while a Bloodstone-empowered Deadpool fought the Beast Queen, Elsa and Jeff worked to save the kids who'd been taken prisoner. Jeff even stabbed one of the beasts with a knife. In the final issue of that series, Jeff helped Deadpool reveal his plan to counter the Venom invasion. This was part of the King in Black event. Deadpool, Elsa, Jeff, and their Honor Guard then fought back against the symbiotes. Little Jeff ate some goo and became venomized. He bit Deadpool, who had to chop his own arm off to prevent the infection from spreading. Jelby quarantined Jeff in his own goo to protect him. It took Deadpool playing some Wu-Tang Clan to blast the venomization off of Jeff and return him to his former self. And that's how the 8th volume of Deadpool closed out near the start of the pandemic. Right after that, writer Zeb Wells, everyone's favorite Spider-Man writer, and artist Gurihiru teamed up for a book called Heroes at Home. It was basically showing what superheroes are doing under quarantine during the COVID-19 pandemic. Spidey and Iceman both have on Jeff t-shirts, Captain Marvel had a Jeff mug, Hulk had a Jeff toy he kept on a clock. Jeff's cameos here were a through line for the book. It's even referenced at the end. After that book, Jeff finally got his own book. This one was by Kelly Thompson and Gurihiru again, and was put out as a digital comic through Marvel Unlimited called It's Jeff, an Infinity comic. It's Jeff and later It's Jeff, the Jeffverse are physical reprints of the digital Infinity comics, retelling the same stories. In the first story, Jeff was baking cookies at Spider-Man's house for his other pet friends like Alligator, Loki, Throg, Lockjaw, and Lockheed. In another story, he was fake traveling the world for his social media followers, but Gwenpool exposed him. He also went to a superhero pool party, but freaked everyone out when he was swimming with his fin just above the water like Jaws. Kate Bishop threw him in a washing machine because he was sleeping under dirty clothes, and he liked the washing machine ride. Later, he put on a dolphin costume to go swimming, not wanting to scare the surfers like he did at the pool party. He also went sledding with some young Avengers and Champions later and ended up using Captain America's shield as a sled. He went to Holland to swim in the tulip fields, then went on an adventure to attack MODOK under the sea. Except that was his imagination during bath time. In another short story, Jeff stole Cap's shield, Falcon's wings, Kate's arrows, Miles' Spider-Man mask, and Black Widow's gauntlet, along with Doctor Strange's Eye of Agamotto necklace, and put them all on to playfully terrorize the team like a little puppy with zoomies. Later, he met some new feline friends when he brought them a fish to eat. On a hot day when he couldn't sleep in the refrigerator, he had his friend Iceman make a snow area in the backyard so he could skate on a frozen, above-ground pool. Kate had to take him to a GI doctor because he had eaten tons of food, a license plate, a rubber duck, and an infinity gauntlet. Kate bought Jeff a house to use, but he made her use it so he could lay on the sofa. When Kate made food for her hero friends, Jeff ate the bird and slept in the covered serving bladder. Silly stories, but hey, you know what? It's Jeff. I know I said I would stop saying that, but there you go. Jeff also teamed up in Captain Marvel series, now in the year 2052, and standing with Hazmat, Danny Cage, Molly Hayes, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Fuse, Phantom X5, The Wolf, Spider, Kate Barton, and Rogue. In 2022's Infinite Possibilities, we now see Jeff fighting alongside Laura Kinney as Wolverine. In Marvel Meow Infinity Comics, we see Jeff hanging out with Quentin Quire again, and then Clint Barton and Lucky the Pizza Dog, who then had to recover their treats from a Loki cat. He also met the dinosaur Old Lace for the first time, followed by Fin Fang Foom and Devil Dinosaur, and both Girl and her partner, Tippy Toe. We then see him back with Kid Omega, now also Doctor Strange and Magic, all of whom fought some interdimensional creatures. In issue 12, pretty much everyone had a pet at that point, but Jeff hung out with his friends Lucky and Tippy Toe. In 2022, Jeff teamed up with the pets again, now including Hit Monkey, Dogpool, Throg, Zabu, Peter Porker, Rocket Raccoon, Howard the Duck, and even Gabby's pet Wolverine Jonathan to take on Ziggy Pig and Silly Seal. Gwenpool and Jeff made a cameo in the Alligator Loki Infinity comic, showing up at the park with other heroes and their animal partners. Jeff and Loki scuffled a bit, which drew all the pets into a fight, but then they got portaled away and the story was over. In 2023, we see Jeff back with Gwenpool, with Jeff now wearing a Sherlock Holmes hat. She put him on guard duty to make sure people kept reading comic books. Also in 2023, a Venomized Jeff showed up on the cover of Extreme Venomverse issue 5, along with a Venomized baseball playing Venom. Venomized Jeff was harmless though, he just still wanted to play. After that, Kate wanted to take Jeff on vacation, and he imagined putting on a Hawaiian shirt and flying to a tropical island with Kate, the one in the cage, in the luggage hold, while he was relaxing in first class. At Gwenpool's house, Jeff hid in the dishwasher to sleep while she ran it, then made snowmen outside with Gwendolyn, and not wanting to be outdone, he sculpted a giant snow shark. Kate did have to go on a trip though, and told Jeff to stay at the apartment, but he hid in her luggage and popped up at her hotel. Later, Jeff went ice skating in Central Park and ended up saving a dog who fell through the ice. Later, outside Gwenpool's window, Jeff saw a massive MODOK, which turned out to be a float from a parade that also had a Jeff the Landshark inflatable. He also came across some little chickens and protected them from a fox before returning the chickens to their mother. He's a hero in the ways he can be, you know? In Hulk's lab, Banner gave Jeff a taco, then used a portal device to steal the food off of Hulk's table. When he was with Iron Man at his shop, Stark had to leave, leaving Jeff in a laser cage, but Jeff was too smart. He got out and put on an Iron Man armor, becoming Mecha Jeff. Speaking of being a hero in his own way, he also helped a little girl get some business for her lemonade stand. Then at Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, Jeff ended up growing some Gargantos or Shumagoras-style appendages and helping the Sorcerer Supreme in another dimension. He battled one creature by himself when Doctor Strange was knocked out. Then he went around eating people's trash for tips. I guess even Jeff needs money. Gwenpool then took him to a grocery store to ride in the cart, but she got yelled at by the store manager. Meanwhile, Jeff went to eat in the deli and got fat. He also went to a girl's birthday party and ruined her bouncy castle, so he called Doctor Strange to levitate the partygoers to make up for it. In the Alligator Loki Infinity comic, Jeff went back to the beach for some fun, but like many of these, it was just a quick cameo. And then he wound up at pet daycare with his friends. Then when Ronan the Accuser got the Space Gem, Ronan attacked New York City, and so the Avengers, with help from Jeff, Lucky, Chewie, Leho, and Alpine, fought back. Then Robbie Reyes, riding his Hell Charger with his pet Cole, showed up. Jeff got a ride in the Charger as they floored it directly at Ronan. Without warning, they ended up on a distant space station called Nowhere, and that's where they ran into Drax and Cosmo the Space Dog of the Guardians of the Galaxy. By the time Rocket showed up, Chewie the Flurkin was wearing a Hannibal Lecter mask. After making friends on a planet, they crossed the Rainbow Bridge into Asgard, and there, Alligator Loki put together a plan to get them all back to Midgard, also known as Earth. Back on Earth, a bunch of other pets got together to go rescue their missing friends using Lockjaw as their portal transport. They tried the Shi'ar Empire, the Savage Land, nowhere, before catching up with them at the Grandmaster's arena. The Grandmaster made them compete for some Infinity Stones. When Jeff got up on stage to sing, it ended up being a distraction and he and Cosmo stole the Infinity Gems. And then back on Nowhere, Jeff handed the stones over to Cosmo. They were then sent back to Earth and arrived just in time to help the Avengers defeat Abomination, MODOK, and a few AIM soldiers. Around this time, Jeff was also hanging out with students and faculty at Avengers Academy because, why not? In late 2024, during the Venom War story, Jeff got a new one-shot, the aptly named It's Jeff by Thompson and Gurihiru. Gwenpool was at Kate Bishop's house and wearing a chicken costume, but Kate made him change before Miss America arrived. He became Venomized again when he went back to pick one of his many other costumes to wear. He used his power to go around stealing food, but then the blacked out, bulked up Jeff the Landshark ended up helping his friends defeat the Venomized people at Coney Island. They saved everyone by playing Baby Shark on a big speaker, but Jeff was not in the sound waves. Instead, he talked to his symbiote and they agreed to just separate. Jeff rolled the black goo up like a beach towel, and he was just fine. In fall 2024's Jeff weekly digital comic, Hawkeye brought Jeff to the X-Mansion where he had fun with Jubilee and Nightcrawler, and ate all the food in the fridge, causing Beast and Wolverine to scold him. So he brought him to Spider-Man to take care of. Spider-Man then gave him to Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur so they could take care of a Green Goblin thing. They got into trouble while Lunella was at school and Magic was pissed. It was Nick Fury who took Jeff next. Fury handed Jeff off to Hulk, but Lockjaw showed up and disappeared with his friend Jeff, leaving a confused Hulk and Nick behind. When Kate got back, she found Lockjaw, Devil Dinosaur, and Jeff asleep, surrounded by crumbs and a television. Importantly, our final stop on the storied adventure of Jeff the Landshark takes us to the end of 2024 into 2025 and another Infinity comic, the digital exclusive for Marvel Rivals. A sort of female Galactus named Galacta narrated the story for us. Master Weaver and Spider-Zero were fighting over how to repair the web of life and destiny, which had been damaged by a rift that caused timelines to merge. Jeff the Landshark was on Master Weaver's team, led by Spider-Man. Jeff had to take on Penny Parker until plans changed. In a recent Forbes article, Marvel head of TV Brad Winderbaum confirmed that Jeff would be a part of the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. He said, "You know it's coming. I can't say when, I can't say where, but we're all Jeff fans around here." Jeff the Landshark has appeared in games like Marvel Puzzle Quest, Crisis Protocol, Marvel Snap, and Marvel Rivals, getting mentions in places like the Washington Post and Rolling Stone. Popular? Absolutely. The only question now is, will he get a CGI version in live action, or will it be more akin to the animated stylings of the What If TV show? We'll have to wait and see, which means that's a wrap on this one, my friends. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.